Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. All right, let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? And so our card for tonight is, and I'm sorry, I get a little uncomfortable sometimes when I pull the Tower card. So it is the Tower card, and as we know, this is a card that can be related to kind of a dissolution of something, a part of your life kind of collapsing, damage taken from some kind of situation, maybe some kind of accident, and an ending, right? So it can be a lot of things. But listen, these cards that, are kind of regarded as being maybe unlucky or, something like the Death card, the Hanged Man, the Tower card. In my opinion, these are not necessarily bad things. This is where we work on ridding ourselves of blockages, of things that are do not serve our lives anymore, and we might be clinging to them. Okay. Now, I want to start here. Okay, and we have right here, it looks like a little house. It reminds me of a Lincoln log house. It looks stacked up there. And then next to it, it kind of almost looks like a wrecking ball. So, I feel that there is probably some kind of instability within. I don't think it's your household. I think it's somebody you are related to maybe, or a close friend. It is something that is it has become a family matter, or, if you have a close chosen family, friends group, that you can rely on one another. It seems like there's something going on with the house, and I think it's financial. I don't think, maybe it could be some kind of, something happening with the house, but I think that this is more along the lines of, having trouble keeping the house financially, maybe, misspending, or just not having the income anymore. Maybe they are on a fixed income, older, and things are, getting really tight for them. Something like this, okay? And so this seems to be kind of a feeling of it's all coming to a head, right? And kind of have to step in to help figure out what is going on, what can you do to help, okay? And I see the candle, and this is kind of the sign for me of that there is some kind of illuminating thing happening. So maybe you haven't really known about their troubles, but it is definitely coming to light now. Okay, so maybe they have come to you for some help. Maybe you've noticed things have been not kind of operating the way that it usually does, and things just seem different, right? So with some inquiry and communication, this thing is kind of, being illuminated, right? Okay, so, and I see a check mark here. And so I feel like, and this is in kind of that metaphysical, angelic, divine, where kind of messages come through, that kind of stuff. But I think with this, it's kind of a feeling of really feel like you have to check in with these family members or family member. And I feel that you had kind of like a strong intuitive feeling already, but now that you know something's going on, you really feel that spirit is kind of leading you to be in this place of service with them, to be somebody who is going to be a most necessary support during this time. And, the universe is kind of guiding you in that direction. Okay. And now we're going to look here. I do think that this is somebody that you love very much. Okay. There's a lot of care there. I think that, it's hard to see the people that we love struggling. But, the way that we kind of, the way that we find some kind of power in a situation is through action. Not always, but most of the time, right? So I think that, kind of coming up with a plan, first seeing what's going on, really getting all of the information, then coming up with a plan, figuring out what needs to be done. Are you able to offer the assistance, or are you going to need to involve other people, find some other kind of means of support? Is the whole situation going to have to change? Okay. And, I think a lot of times in these scenarios where, especially if it's an older family member and, they're having trouble, they're retired, they've gotten older, maybe they've lost a spouse, whatever it is, there comes a time when, we have to kind of downscale our lives, or, right, maybe figure out how to budget things a little differently, figure out what are their needs. I think especially for people who have spent their whole life working so hard, raising families, taking care of their own parents and maybe grandparents, taking care of a lot of people throughout their lives. And then they get older and they're retired, their family members are moved all over the, across the country or whatever. And, it can get to a point though where they don't want to let go of, I think, where they feel comfortable, a place that they have worked so hard to be. And now you get to this older age and it's like life changes in a way where you feel uprooted, but in a time in your life where you should be able to just be where you want to be, right? And not feel like you're being moved around or living somewhere you don't necessarily want to. So I think that, in supporting our elders, right? Sometimes I think, you can find some kind of plan to keep them where they're at, but also really, I think, helping with the perspective of, you know, not getting in a fixed state is what keeps us alive and well. We have to continue to evolve as people, to be able to not be too attached to the idea of something, but also to make, you know, it's the idea of something being a place that you want to stay, right? And that's hard, I know, especially if it's a family home. But the other thing is making our loved ones feel safe and cared about, that, you know, we'll do whatever is within our power to help them and take care of them. And I think that's the big thing here is, you know, really letting this family member or family members know that you are going to do whatever you can. And if you can't figure it out, you're going to find somebody who can figure it out, right? And that's a big help, I think. And so I think, you know, here we have the hummingbird, which is full of, let's see, full of energy, you know, the ability to kind of multitask, very quick, very intelligent, clever about things. I feel like this is something that, you know, you're going to be able to be helpful with, right? I think that you, a lot of Sagittarius, especially solar Sagittarius people, have very much this disposition of somebody who is something like a social worker, a caretaker, medical field, teachers, you know, first responders, people who are very giving of themselves, okay, and often have the ability to figure out how to navigate these systems of, you know, finding a place for people, figuring out how to get resources for people, you know, just knowing the ins and outs more so than the average person. And so I think this is really, you're going to excel in being of service here, right? I think that you're the right person to really be helping. And but you know, I know, and it's been some months since our reading about kind of stepping out of being the family, kind of the family caretaker. And I mean, that's really kind of what it was. I had a couple of readings where we talked a lot about, with the Sagittarius, about, you know, making space for yourself, not being taken advantage of by family members who kind of just expect you to do all of the work within the family, take care of people within the family that kind of nobody else shows up for. Okay, and so I realized that this is kind of going back in the direction of, you know, being that caretaker person, but I don't think it's exactly that. I think that this is more of a support role. This is using your know-how and helping kind of navigate how to set up more care or figure out the financial things that are happening. Okay, I think though there's been a lot of self-work this last 6 months or however long ago it was that we had those readings, and a lot of kind of learning to advocate for yourself, and making sure that you keep yourself, you know, healthy, looked after, doing the self-care stuff, the self-work, listening to your needs and not pushing yourself too hard to, take all of your energy, all of your extra time, all of that kind of, vital, the vital resources of your being put into other people. Okay. But I also think it's just in your nature to be there, and you're not going to kind of, ignore what's going on. But I do see, and I'm looking at this, it almost looks like a cat going after a bird here. I see the mouth open. And to me, that really is kind of just, I feel like it's almost kind of like a reminder to not be the mark, right? And what that means is to not be the person that is going to be put in the position to be taken advantage of, stolen from, so on. I think that you know better than that, okay? And you know the people around you. I feel that this is somebody that you trust. You trust that they need you to be a part of the situation. But I don't feel like you will be taken advantage of necessarily. But that being said, you have to take notice of everything. Like we all should. Even with our families, and that's the unfortunate thing, but we have to be mindful of how much we give, especially to people who are like a bucket with a hole in it. It's just you keep putting in and in and in, and it just is never enough, right? So we have to, be careful, be mindful. That scenario, but I also see a dog here, okay, sitting, and here's the tail, and so I also feel, and this is kind of a more relaxed posture, sitting, tail down, and this makes me think of, there's kind of that duality of this chaotic hunter kind of, calculating scene. And then we have a dog, the loyalty. This is calm. There's no, being on alert, no barking, nothing like that. So I feel like, that you have the instinct to really trust what's going on. But I do think, it's also worth mentioning, of course, to listen to your intuition, which you do. I know you do. So, I think that in reality, when you are in a place of giving of yourself, you definitely feel like you are in your zone, like you are fulfilling your life's work. Okay, it is your part of your will, and there's a great meaning in your life to be taking care of those who need to be taken care of. And so, I think that this will be a difficult situation. Financial stuff always is. But I think that there will be a resolution, and I feel that you're going to go into the situation confidently, and you will be of so much value to the people, the person that's kind of in this tough spot. And, we've all had things happen financially. Hopefully, no, Pudgy. Goodness. All right, come on, say hello and let's go. Come on. All the way down, please, sir. Come on. Come on, silly. Pudgy. Okay, thank you. And, we've all been in some kind of financial situation. lost money, didn't have enough money for a bill, lost a job, or, didn't get enough hours, whatever it is. We've all been there. You know how terrible it can feel. You know how much anxiety, lost sleep, your health starts to fail. These kinds of things, or at least, it impacts your health, I think. And so, when you can be, even if you don't have any money to give, just being there, listening, offering the support and things that you can do to help them. Even if it is helping pack, even if it is finding, county resources or whatever, it just being there to listen. All of these things can be so important. So, it makes me very sad to think about somebody going through a financial hardship all by themselves, having nobody to talk to, that's difficult. So, it's important for us to be there for our people. And, but again, you have to just kind of be discerning. We also all have family members, I'm sure, that are just not good with money. And it's maddening. You want them to get it right, but it's like, we can't all be good at everything, right? And, even myself included, I've said this on here before. I, was a waitress for a long time. And though I was fairly poor, let's just be real. But, I still did okay. And I worked really hard doing grueling work in restaurant life. But, it's like sometimes you just can't figure out how to get it to work for you. And then, hopefully somebody can help teach you, or you find a way, and maybe you could even be that for this person. I don't know, but it seems to me that they need somebody. You are kind of aligned in that path. And, so hopefully there's something, like I said, even if it's just listening, which is a lot. Listening to somebody is, that's not easy. That sometimes you almost rather be able to just give them the money so you don't have to listen to all this stuff. But, it's giving of our time, giving of lending our ear and our counsel, and being a confidant and a support, a cheerleader, all those things. We all need somebody like that, don't we? Okay, so we have a P here, and I have a triangle, and it looks like I have 2 fish. So the P, I don't know. Do you have a person with a P name in your life that maybe you need to get in contact with? The fish, good sign. I think that, this might actually have to do with the situation, some kind of abundance, alleviating some of the financial strain. Hopefully, this will, be maybe even like good fortune coming to your loved one through, you being involved in the situation. And that meaning that you are helping bring in that energy for them, getting things sorted out, right? And then with the little triangle, I think that there's just a real motivation, that fire of life coming in, and the creativity, the being able to kind of really be innovative and come up with a lot of ideas, and having a good attitude about it. And that's the other thing, is just having an attitude of confidence and kindness. That helps the situation so much. You know, you can think of, I'm sure, when you've had hard things happen in your life and there's somebody who comes in that feels like they know what they're doing, that wants to kind of help, you know, alleviate some of the stress. They stay in a positive, forward-moving kind of frame of mind, and that really makes you feel like there's a little less weight, right? So I think that you definitely could be that person as well for this family member. Okay. So I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. I wish we had a more fun reading, but you know what? These are real things. These are things that happen in our lives. These are, you know, I am kind of old school in that I don't like talking about money that much with people. I don't like talking about finances. I don't like, you know, talking about any of that kind of stuff really. But, you know, as I said, I struggled. And so I, you know, have some kind of understanding of a lot of different little things. And I hope that sometimes we can talk about that kind of stuff here, because it's really what the kinds of things that we worry about, you know. And I can't give any advice, of course, because I'm not a professional in any capacity, but we can talk about, you know, kind of the things that do worry us. And I know when I have really spent more time watching like readings and stuff, sometimes it's when I'm having financial problems. So that might be, you know, a topic that brought you here. And I understand that. No judgment. I get it 100%. So anyhow, I want to thank you again. And if you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel get into the algorithm. And we're growing one person at a time. We're doing a great job, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you have not subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read every single one of them. I appreciate all of them. I'm actually going to go read and reply to all my comments today. I have not done that much of it. It's Sunday right now when I'm recording this, and I was out painting the exterior all day long. So I'm helping my husband with stuff, and our beautiful little daughter, and you know, I didn't get to it, but now I'm gonna go do them all. So I do look forward to reading the lovely messages when I get a few moments to do so. And so I want to thank you, and we'll talk again very soon.